All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to use this recording to go through some of the information about getting ready to take the AP exam this year, what's going to happen on the day of, lots of information here. This presentation that I'm going to go through, you guys have access to. On our Google Classroom, I have shared this with you. The 2020 AP testing guide is there. So if there's any slide that you see that you're like, oh, wait, I didn't get a chance to write that down, you can either go back in the video. You also have this document. I believe it's a PDF available to you. Okay, so there's quite a bit of information here. I'm going to try and hit the highlights. Okay, so pretty much all that I'm going to go through, these resources can all be found at the website. They're written in blue, cb.org/AP2020. Okay, so you can find it there. Again, I've already shared these materials with you as well. Okay, so what's in here is going to tell you how you're going to get access to the exam, what you need to do to prepare for it, what's going to happen the day of, and what's going to happen after. So the very first thing, and this is the most important document, 2 days before the test, so for us, AP Chem, that's May 14th. So on May 12th, by the end of the day at some point, you should receive an email from College Board that will have your e-ticket for the AP Chem exam. This one on the right here is just an example. The example they've chosen is AP Biology. Okay, it's just an example. But it'll have your name and the most important number, an AP ID. And it'll list the subject, the date, and the time that you'll be taking that exam. If for some reason you do not receive that email, okay, or you can't find that email or whatever, it is also available to you if you log into myap.collegeboard.org. Log into your personal account, your MyAP account, your e-ticket will also appear there. Again, it will only show up 48 hours before that exam. Okay? It's personalized for you. You can't give it to somebody else. It will only work for you. Okay? So you'll receive, everybody's going to receive it through email, but if for some reason you miss it in your inbox, you can always find it on your MyAP account. It's going to be, each e-ticket will be specific for a specific exam. Okay, here's our exam right there. Okay, so we are Thursday, May 14th, and we are Eastern time, so that's 2 p.m. Okay, if you have any friends that live in California, for example, okay, they will be taking the same exam at 11 a.m., all right? But we are Eastern time, so we are Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time, all right? Now, should you need to take a makeup exam, and we'll talk a little bit later about what could cause you to need to do that, the chemistry makeup exam is right here, okay? If for some reason you need to take a makeup exam, that's Tuesday, June 12th at 4 p.m. All right, now, let me just go back for 1 second to these dates in May. I want to show you guys something. Here's us. A lot of you are enrolled in AP Physics 1 as well. That's on the same day, and it's real close. Look at those times. Chemistry is at 2 p.m., physics is at 4 p.m. Now, remember, these exams are only 45 minutes in length, but I do realize that's a pretty quick turnaround, Okay, that's a lot in one day, so I want you to prepare yourself. Okay, I want you just to kind of keep that in mind. Okay. So I already said we are Eastern Daylight Time, so our exam is going to be at 2 p.m. For any of your other exams, you again want to look for Eastern time zone. All right. Okay, now, colleges across the nation have said that, actually, I'll get into that in just a second. That comes into play a little bit later. College Board is saying it is not going to be more difficult than in other years to get a 3, 4, or 5. Okay. That middle bullet point, it says AP exams are never graded on a curve, and this year's exams are no different. I know what they mean. However, they do sort of grade on a curve, because what they have said is that they are going to look at how students perform on this year's exam. And they're going to run some statistics, and what I do call a curve, I guess it's not really a curve, but they will decide after all of the exams have been scored, meaning all of the graders out there have given points awarded for all the students and all the questions. They're going to run statistics, and they are going to decide where the boundary is for 3, 4, and 5. And that is different from year to year. For example, if a particular year's exam is much more difficult than in other previous years, then they will lower the cutoff for what is a 5, because apparently the kids are not scoring as well. So they don't call that a curve. I sort of do. They will look at how everybody does, and they will decide where the cutoffs are for 3, 4, and 5. So they will be fair. It's not going to be any more difficult to get a 3, 4, or 5 than it is any other year. Having said that, look at the third bullet point. It says, don't worry if you don't complete all parts of the question. Okay? The guy that led this webinar that I attended on Tuesday said that in some cases, a question may have more parts than are feasibly able to be answered in the time given. So if you'll notice in that second sentence, it says, to give students as many different chances to demonstrate what they know as possible, a question may have more parts that can be answered in the allotted time. You don't need to complete the entire question to get a score of a 5. But of course, you do need to submit whatever work you've done. So keep that in mind, and I don't want that to really freak anybody out. I know some of you are very much perfectionists and would feel very uncomfortable hitting the submit button when you have left parts blank. But let me just keep hearing that phrase in your brain. You don't have to complete all the parts in order to score a 5. You can still get a 5 having left things blank. It's possible. Okay? So answer what you can is really the gist here. They've given a lot of parts so that they can give you more opportunities to show what you know, essentially. So let's see. So there apparently is a sort of appeal process. If you do not, let's say you score a 2 on the exam and you truly believe that that is because the exam format this year, or because it was shorter, you didn't get as many opportunities to show what you know. If you feel that is the case for you, tell me, and I will be able to essentially request an appeal, like a review of your test, and they can rescore it. So there is that option. I don't think many of you will come cross feeling like you want to use that, but you might. Okay, so here's some of the nitty-gritty stuff. For every question, every part of the exam you're going to see, you will have 3 options as to how you submit your responses. Option number 1 is you type your answer, let's say in a Word file, okay, or a Google Docs file. You type it all out, highlight it, copy it, and paste it over in the response window, okay? So copying and pasting from, say, a Word file over to the test itself, that's fine. The second option is you type your answer into, let's say, a Word file or a Google Docs file. You finish your response, you save it, and you upload that Word file or Google Docs file or whatever. You upload the entire file as a response. Third option, you write your response on a separate sheet of paper, take a picture of it, and upload the image. Those are your 3 options, and you'll have those options for all questions, all parts. Okay, I will tell you in a minute which one I think is the best way to go. Okay, that's right here. So this option, I believe, is going to be the best option for you guys. Okay, those of you that have been in class with me this week and last week, I've told you that the people specifically who wrote the chem exam are saying that you could type every answer, which essentially means there's next to no math, very little anyway. They're saying that things could very easily be typed. So this is what I suggest is the best option for that. So you would type your response into a Google Doc file, a Word file, notes, some kind of similar application. Okay, you would type your AP ID and your initials at the top of that response just to ensure that they know who it is. I mean, they should, but just in case. And when it is time for you to submit your answers, because there'll be a specific time for that, you would just simply copy and paste over into the little response window. All right, now, what does that mean that you need to have set up, ready to go on the day of the exam? Okay, window where it says down at the lower part of the screen where it says window 1, this would be the programs that you would want to have the AP exam questions itself open in. They are highly recommending that you use Chrome. Internet Explorer will not work. Okay? Let me just say that again in case anyone didn't hear me. Internet Explorer will not work. You will not be able to run the exam through Internet Explorer. They recommend Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or Edge. Those will all work. Chrome is what they recommend. Okay, so in Chrome, you would have the test questions. The timer is going to be there. I'll talk about that in a minute. And this is where you would paste your answers. A second window you would have open would be that Google Doc or that Word file or whatever, okay, that you're copying from. Okay, so this is the method I would recommend, but you could have the exact same setup, have 2 different windows open, have Chrome open with the AP exam questions, and have a second window with Google Doc, Microsoft Word, whatever. But you're typing your answers, saving your answers, and uploading that entire file. Okay, you can do that. All right. this would be a good place where you would want to be very organized. Like, this is question number 1. This is part A. Type, 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 type. Space, return, 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 part B, and then answer the question for part B. You would want to be as organized as possible. Okay? So this is not cutting and pasting. This is uploading an entire text file. Okay? And on this screen, you can see what the acceptable formats are. It could be .doc, .docx, PDF, text, ODT. Okay, so that is another option. The third option is that you write your answers on a piece of paper. Okay, they ask that you use blue or black ink if you're going to do that, or a number 2 pencil. They have said they really don't care if it's lined paper, I think, or if it's blank, so long as it's on 8.5 by 11 portrait paper, like you're writing in a like a spiral notebook or something. Meaning you don't want to be doing this on a whiteboard. Okay, so you have the ability to take a picture and upload that. Okay, you can see what the acceptable file formats are: PNG, JPEG, JPG. Okay, those are acceptable picture formats. All right, so this would be a situation where you would have either be taking the exam on a smartphone or a tablet, although I really don't recommend that because apparently there's a lot of scrolling up and down. What I would suggest, if this is an option that you think you might want to use, is be taking the exam on like a desktop or a laptop or something. Take pictures with your phone. Just be maybe practice doing it quickly, getting the image from your phone quickly to your laptop so that you can upload it right away. So those are your 3 options. For every question, and I believe every part to every question, you will have the ability to do these 3 different options. Okay? You want to start thinking about now what's going to work for you. If this were me personally, I would want to go with the first option and just copy and paste my responses over, but I would want to have my cell phone handy just in case there's something that I think it would be easier to write it out. So I'd have like a spiral notebook, a black pen, and my phone nearby just in case there's some question that I want to write it out, take a picture, and upload it. That's what I would do. Okay, we don't need to go through that or that. If you are a person that has accommodations, I know some of you have extended time. There's nothing special that you need to do. Your extended time will be put into the exam already. Like, you will already have extended time built in through the online exam. If any of you have accommodations of specific devices or aids that you are allowed to use, you can certainly have access to that at home. Okay? If you're approved to have questions read to you, you are allowed to be assisted by somebody in your household. If, God forbid, something happens to you, like you have an injured hand or something between now and May 14th, and you're not able to type or write, or, I don't know, something happens to your eye and you can't see the screen, you are allowed to do a request for a temporary assistance, and there's a website down at the bottom where you can do that. All right? Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about sort of what are some things that might go wrong during exam day that would require you to need to take the makeup. If you need to do so, there is a website there in blue, cb.org/requestmakeup, where you would go in and essentially plead your case. All right. this is what happened to me during my exam. A tiger broke in from outside and consumed my laptop, and I was not able to finish the exam. That would be a legitimate excuse. All right. They will take your plea. They will decide whether, yep, you qualify for a makeup, and then they would send you a new e-ticket. All right. You need to submit that request within 48 hours of the original test date. All right. Don't call College Board. There's nobody there. Okay. Because of the stay-at-home order, their offices are not open. Okay. So we'll talk about, what could happen on the exam day and how to mitigate that. All right. So on the exam itself, it's going to guide you step by step what to do. Okay, so apparently it's going to be very, very clear. But, unexpected events do occur. Tigers could break into your home. You don't know. So we're gonna talk about some sort of tips to how to mitigate that or what to do. All right, so before the exam, there's sort of 5 things you need to do. We're going to go through them one at a time. The first thing I would do, and you can do this right now, is log in to your MyAP account and confirm your email address. All right. It's showing you where to do that. If you click on your profile at the top right-hand corner, you can go to settings. And if the email address that is in there is not the one that you check regularly or you want to change it, you can go to, you can do that and click update. All right. But look at the bottom of the screen here. If you still are not getting emails from College Board, don't stress. Your e-ticket is always going to be posted in your MyAP account. Okay. Start thinking about how do you want to take this exam. Okay. I personally, as I told you guys before, I personally would take it on a desktop or a laptop and have a phone nearby just in case you want to take a picture and upload an image. But that may not be feasible for you, okay? Just keep in mind that the exam can be taken on a phone, it can be taken on an iPad, a tablet, or any kind of laptop or desktop, okay? You don't need any sort of lockdown browser. Ask your parents about this. If you have something, a certain plugin on your computer, it's called Grammarly, you will need to remove that. Most of you probably don't. Okay, and I'll talk about how do you know if you do or don't. But you want to start thinking about what do you want your setup to look like? And that may be different depending on which exam it is. Like if those of you that are going to take the AP Lang exam, your setup may be different than for ours in AP Chem. Okay? Remember what I told you guys. There will be no drawing on this year's AP Chem exam. There will not be any diagrams that you have to draw, no graphs that you have to draw. You will not be drawing any Lewis structures. That doesn't mean you don't need to know that material, it's just you don't have to be drawing anything. So if that influences how you want to do that, then just keep that in mind. Okay. Okay. So I talked about how you're going to upload things or if you're going to copy and paste. If you are going to be typing your answers and saving the file and uploading like a Word file, just keep in mind, just like we do on our tests, you need to be very organized in that document. Like question 1, part A, type, 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 type. Part B, type, 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 you know. And then I would even, like if you look at the bottom of this screen here, it says to save those files with a very clear name. Like this, they've used AP Biology as an example, but AP Chemistry question 1. .doc or .docx. Okay. So if you think you might want to handwrite something, you can use lined or unlined paper, okay? Use standard size, use a number 2 pencil or blue or black ink. I don't imagine you guys would need more than 5 pages or 10 pages. I mean, that's kind of different if you wanted to handwrite your answers for like an AP Lang exam. That I don't think that's going to apply to us. Okay, but if you are going to use multiple pages, you might want to number those pages. Okay. All right, on May 4th, that is, let's see, that is Monday next week. You are going to be, I believe through email, you are going to be able to access something called the AP 2020 exam demo, or you can go to this website and access it. And guys, this is something you absolutely must do, because this is going to tell you whether the device you're going to use is compatible or not. So if this is me and I'm planning to take my exam on my school issued laptop, I want to go to that website and test out that demo using the computer that I will be using. If you're able to see the demo, and it's going to let you practice with all those different methods. It's going to let you practice typing on a Word file, copy, paste it into the response box. It'll let you practice typing up a Word file, saving it, and uploading the Word file. It'll let you practice taking a picture of something and uploading an image. You'll be able to see if all the devices that you need to use are compatible. And if something isn't working, okay, you can ask for our AP coordinator's help. That's Mr. Waxman. Email me and I can direct you to the right person. You could also contact Mr. Colgan. He's our IT guy at Oakton. He can help you. But when all else fails, just email me. Okay, but that's coming up in just a few days. So Monday, May 4th, you will be able to access this demo, and I want everybody to try it out. Okay, so I'm going to skip to the next slide or this slide. Oops, let me go back. Sorry. All right, so what do you need on exam day itself? All right, you will obviously need to have your e-ticket. All right. The second bullet says completed exam day checklist. I have shared that checklist with you as well, and I can show it to you in just a minute, but that has been shared on Google Classroom as well. It's just literally a checklist of I have done this, I have done that, I am ready to take this exam. Okay. You'll need to have all your devices ready to roll. You want to make sure that you're in the correct browser. Again, Chrome is highly recommended. Okay, if you need any other devices, you want to have that. I would personally have my phone fully charged and ready to go next to me. Now let me skip ahead to chemistry specifically. Okay, you guys want to have your periodic table next to you and your equation sheet. If you have lost either one of those documents, you can find them on our Google Classroom. If you go to classwork and scroll all the way to the bottom where I think it says everyday materials, you will find copies of those. You are permitted to have a calculator, okay, although they're saying you really won't need it. The other thing you might want to look at is this thing called the keyboarding tip sheet for 2020 AP chemistry exams. You can find that document at that website right there, cb.org/AP exam day docs. I'm guessing that has tips for, how to type a superscript, a subscript, where to quickly find a plus sign. I mean, little things like that. most of which you probably already know, but it's worth looking at. Okay. Now, obviously, the AP exam is open note. Okay? You can use notes, study guides, textbooks, assignments, calculators, anything like that. However, having to rely on any of these things, including internet searches, which you can do, you can use all of these things. But guys, as I said, there's going to be more parts per question than maybe necessarily can be answered in the allotted time. Yes, it's open note, but flipping through notes is going to use up valuable time. 45 minutes is not a lot. So here's my thought on this. Of course, it's open note, and I would recommend having your notes in some kind of organized fashion right next to you. You can have your textbook out right next to you, but I would only go to your notes or your textbook if you absolutely have to. Okay? Because it wastes time looking for things. So I would get your notes organized to the point that you could find something fast. All right? However, as I just said, that should be a last resort. Okay? It takes too much time. If you're going to look things up online, do not copy it. All right? If you copy something from a website, from social media, anything like that, you're going to get flagged. Okay, you're going to get flagged for cheating, and that's just not going to be good. All right, so I really would advocate that you not do that, okay, because it's just going to run into problems. Plus, it takes up valuable time. Okay, so as I said, guys, on May 4th, you will receive an email confirmation that will have your AP ID. You will also on May 4th have the ability to go to that demo simulator and practice uploading things and practice answering questions. Okay. Before May 4th, that's Monday, again, verify that your email address on your My AP account is the one that you want to use, and check it regularly. Okay, so May 4th, you'll have access to the demo. You will also be receiving an email confirmation which will list all of the AP exams you signed up to take and when they occur. 2 days before each exam, you will receive your personalized e-ticket for that exam. Okay, so May 4th is just a list of what exams you signed up for. 2 days before each exam is your actual ticket. All right, this checklist, again, I have shared it with you. It's on our Google Classroom, okay? It is something that I would print out for each one of your exams that you're going to be taking, okay? It's good to have a hard copy of it as you're taking the exam. Go through the checklist before the exam and make sure that you are ready to go, okay? Again, this checklist I shared on our Google Classroom. Okay. On exam day, this is where you want to focus your attention, right here. We are a 2-question exam. Okay, there's question 1 and question 2. Each one will have multiple parts. All right, question 1. Actually, even before that, they are asking that you log in and be ready to roll 30 minutes before the start time of the exam. We start at 2 o'clock. You want to be logging in at 1:30. Okay? Just to make sure that everything's good to go. At 2 p.m., You don't have to refresh your browser. You don't have to click next. It will automatically come up and question 1 will appear. You will have 25 minutes to read through the question and write out your answer. Okay? I'm going to say something, and I say it to my students every single year. And some listen to me and some don't. Read through all parts of the question before you start writing anything down. And I know what you're thinking. Well, that's a waste of my time. If I read part A and I know how to answer it right away, I'm just going to go ahead and answer it. Don't do that. Let me say it again. Read through all parts of each question and then start writing your answers. Because whether you realize it or not, your brain is processing those questions in the background. Okay? You may not realize it, but that is what is happening. And you are more likely to answer a question correctly. You're more likely to recall memorized information more quickly if you've read it and had time to process it. Read all parts of the question before you start writing anything. Okay? You'll have 25 minutes to do that. And then you will have a separate set of 5 minutes to submit all of your answers for question 1 in whatever method that is. Copy and paste, upload a file, whatever. If you finish question 1 before those 25 minutes, you can upload your answers before the end of that 25 minutes. You can do that. However, you will not see question 2 until those full 30 minutes, the 25 and then the 5 minutes for uploading. You will not see question 2 until that full 30 minutes is up. Again, you won't have to hit next or anything like that or refresh your browser. Question 2 will show up automatically. Question 2 is going to be a little bit shorter. You'll have 15 minutes to read all the parts of the question, then start writing your responses, and then you'll have a separate 5 minutes to upload your responses for question 2. And then that's it. Okay? So that is the timing for our exam. That's for music theory. We don't need that. World languages. All right, so to mitigate issues, you want to remove as many distractions as you can, okay? Tell everybody in your family, everyone in your household to, don't come in and bother you, don't disturb you. You're on a timed situation. Make sure your devices are plugged in and they're fully charged. If your bandwidth has ever been an issue in your house with like Wi-Fi, tell your little brother or little sister, now is not the time for you to be playing Fortnite, okay? Maybe the household can just hold off on streaming Netflix for 45 minutes while you take your exam, okay? And of course, have everything out that you need, have all of your resources nearby. Okay, we already talked about this. Don't cheat. I'm not going to say anything more about that. Okay, so on May 14th at 1:30 p.m., you are going to check into your exam. You are going to click on your e-ticket. And you'll see a timer at the bottom that, just like this one, will say time until exam starts. Okay? Again, you will not need to refresh your browser. You're not going to have to hit next or anything. It's just going to, question number 1 will show up right away. Okay? You don't need to use spell check or grammar check or anything like that. You won't be penalized if you have improper grammar or you misspell a word. If you are handwriting or typing your answers, again, just like this person's sheet has parts A, B, C organized up in the right-hand corner. They have the question number 1. This person has written their AP ID at the top of the page and their initials. That's a good idea. Okay. It says here that you could print the test questions and annotate them, I do not recommend doing that because that, again, just takes time. Okay. You will not be able to move on to the second question until the time for the first question has fully elapsed. And once you're on the second question, guys, you can't go back to the first question. Okay, they're done one at a time. Once you submit a question, you can't go back to it. So during the exam, you're going to see a timer at the bottom of your screen that will appear in black, like this one at the top that says time left to submit work. When you get below 5 minutes, the timer will turn red. Okay, that's just to kind of give you a heads up, like, hey, we're getting kind of down to the wire here. Okay. You'll need to then attach your work, and you have to actually click submit. If you don't click submit, none of your work has gone through. Okay. They have told us that, let's say you hit submit to submit your work for question 1, and for some reason, I don't know, your connection is a little bit slow and it's taking a while to upload those images or whatever it is, the exam has built into it software that will allow you to go ahead and go on to question 2 while the uploading process still runs in the background for question 1. So please don't worry about if your connection is slow or something like that, if uploads take a while. Okay. Complete as many parts as you can. You can still earn a 5 even if you don't finish everything. And make sure to hit submit. Okay, so we've talked about this. This is showing you all the 3 different types of ways. Okay, this is what a copy and pasting your work looks like. This is where you are attaching a text file, and this would be attaching a photo or an image of some sort. All 3, you have to click submit. All right. And apparently at the end of everything, you should get a confirmation page that says your AP exam is complete. If you never get that message, you can go to the college board's, request a makeup and say, something happened. I don't think my exam went through. And they will look at it and say, oh, no, we got it. Or if they didn't get it, then they will give you an e-ticket to take the makeup exam. Okay, so what could go wrong? We're almost done here. If something happens like you accidentally close your browser window or your device crashes or you lose internet, simply try to get back to your e-ticket and go back to the exam. It should take you back to the place that you left off. If you feel that disruption negatively impacted your performance or, it just took too much time, you can request that makeup, okay? So there's a tip here that says during the exam, do not refresh your browser or hit the back arrow, okay? Just don't do that. And don't call because there's nobody there. Okay, so because the AP exams are having to be scored by graders at home, they usually scores come out around July 4th. This year they're going to be a little bit delayed. They're saying around July 15th just because this is kind of unprecedented, having to have the graders do everything separately at home. They will still be on a 1 to 5 scale. Apparently, you all can send your AP scores to one college free of charge, as long as you do that before June 20th. After that, I guess there is a fee. The next few slides, which I'm honestly just going to skip over here, these are just different universities assuring you guys that they will be accepting scores just as they always do for credit. And some schools are even saying they may be a little bit more generous. meaning schools that may not usually accept a 3 might for this year's test. All right, so this is the last slide, which is just kind of some last things, some things that are very important, and I'm going to add some things too. So on May 4th, you want to check your email and see if you got that confirmation email that lists the different exams, and if you didn't, let me know. Also on May 4th, I want you guys to go to this site right there and test out that exam demo on whatever device you're planning to take the exam. That will be the best way to ensure that your system works. Okay. Remember, Chrome is preferred. Internet Explorer will not work. All right. And if any of you think you might have that Grammarly plugin on your computer, which the school laptops don't, but if you think that your home computer might, there's a way to disable browser extensions. It says just do a Google search. I guess it must not be very difficult. And I think that is just about it. I know I've talked a lot. My voice is hoarse. So let me get out of this. I'm not going to go over it, but this is that checklist that I was telling you guys about. This is also posted on Google Classroom. It just has a whole bunch of steps, things that you want to make sure you have done before the exam. And even this category that says during the exam, take a look at these before the exam. Okay, and then it's got a couple for after. All right, these are just things that I think are really, really important to make sure that you have, just to ensure that your experience is smooth and you don't encounter any problems. All right, so I'm going to set up a live session to answer any questions that you may still have. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys, and I look forward to answering any questions that you have, and have a wonderful day, y'all.